So here we are on March 29th, it's Saturday. I had to work this morning because I had took Thursday off, where I was out here actually diagnosing the problem that I found when I did key on, which was that the accelerator pedal was not hooked up correctly, and so the motor was wanting to go full throttle. Luckily, we have lots of fail safes in place, so number one, the car was in neutral, thank God. But once I heard the motor spinning up like that, I just keyed off right away. And if that didn't work, I could have hit the emergency shutoff, high voltage shutoff. So took a little bit of figuring out what the issue was. We're using a Nissan Maxima 2005 accelerator pedal, and it needs 5 volts, a ground, and then outputs a signal. So I don't know what the issue is, but I seem to remember this, where number one, you have to use the blue-black wire as the ground, not the black-white wire on the Curtis 1238. And the one that sent me for a loop was pot low, that it says, which is the purple wire that says that's going to be your 5 volts, actually is not. You have to use the red wire, which is common 5 volt output, which is used by the gauge and the resolver motor. So not the best to be tied into that, but it is the common 5 volts anyway. It's probably shared internally anyway. So once I hooked up that correctly, the accelerator was working as it should. And I actually ordered, it's nice that pedal is available aftermarket. There's a Dorman part, which is only $50, available one day on Amazon. So I plugged that one in, no change. But it is cool that I have now another one, which I think I'm going to replace, just because that was a used accelerator pedal. I'm also only using one side of the APP, position sensor. Normally there's 2 that are going in opposite directions as a countermeasure. But since I have the part, it was cheap, I'm going to put it in eventually. But you have to calibrate the new accelerator pedal. So variations in manufacturing, the rest position outputs variations, different variation in voltage. So it reminded me of what had happened when I first set up this rig, where the motor was running at 150 RPM with the pedal released. And then once I did the menus, which with a 1-button interface takes a really long time, but I was able to learn the accelerator pedal. So I can't put the new one in until I do that. But I do think, just for safety, having a new part in there I think would be nice, rather than this old used one, which I bought because it came with the pigtail, I think. And it's cool, it's a Dorman part. You know, Dorman makes stuff that is problematic, right? They do fixes for cars. But what's going on right now is that the car is now charging on the truck, and that is a huge step, because now I can basically, if I run out of juice, sure, I could lug around a generator, but what would be a little bit more professional is just show up with the truck, plug the cable into the bed, and just let it run for a few hours. So I had to kind of dial in the charger. It was set to 3 amps. Remember, the target voltage is 128, so That is a fair amount of watts. It was above the capable output of our in-bed inverter, even when the truck is just idling, which is 400 watts. So I dialed it down to 2. It still didn't like 2. I dialed it down to 1. It still wasn't doing that. And then I realized I had this little battery charger hooked up, which pulls 50 watts. It's only a 400 milliamp, 15 volt output, but those clamps were shorted together. So that was causing an overcurrent condition. But now I have it dialed in to 1.6 amps. Seems to be the max that I can do. Or an interesting thing is, like, even when I brought it up to 1.8, the BMS was still only reporting 1.6 amps of current coming in. So to me, that is like the charger voltage or current or watts or whatever is just not hitting that target. So let me just dial it back. 1.6 seems to be a reasonable number. And then, if that's 50, and then I have also another 12 volt adapter there, and then compensate for voltage loss in this super crude 100 foot extension cord, which is coiled up in the bed of the truck. Let me just show you, because it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm happy I was able to get another 2011 Tacoma for the same price that the insurance gave me for mine when I hit a deer. But this one's got some extras, and this little 400 watt inverter in the truck, super, super handy. And when you're idling, you can get the full 400 watts. Okay, and it's only 115 volt output, so that also explains why, it just wasn't able to kick on the charger when I ask it to charge at 2 amps, but it can do 1.6, so that's good enough. And the BMS is reporting current coming in, which is great. But it's funny because I guess this is supposed to be like 11 kilowatts of power. It's a third of a leaf pack, which is 24. So it's probably less than that. But let's see, 24 divided by 3 is 8. Yeah. So maybe potentially, 10 kilowatts of power, usable power, to complete min-max on these. When I bought the cells, they had said you're going to probably have about 11 kilowatts of power in these batteries, but we still don't really know the condition of them. They were from a 2011 Leaf, as I understand, so I don't really know, but we'll be monitoring them for capacity. I did drive the car around the storage unit parking lot here. It's insured, it's registered. Took it for 2 loops. It's pretty funny, all the dust was like coming out, but it's an 80-degree day today. It's going to be 50 tomorrow again, but perfect day to drop the top down and maybe try to get this thing home. It's also technically the last day to exit the storage unit and not pay for April, so this is pretty big moment, cutting it close here. But here we are charging the car, and I know it runs. I guess I could probably pump up the tires. Wouldn't that be fun? But I've got the generator with me. But maybe I'll just get a chase vehicle. I'm gonna let it run for a little while, charge up, and put this little tool chest in the back of the truck. and then, you know, hopefully around 5 we'll get this thing out of here. So thanks for watching. Thanks for the support, the views. You know, a few thumbs up here and there like that, and just documenting it for posterity. Anyone else out there who you know, is trying something like this and, you know, maybe doesn't have all the support of everyone, that it can be done. But that's just you know, typical movie magic, you know. The story of the, well, I'll show you, right? Naysayers, haters gonna hate. That's all I can say. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, nothing is proven until we can get in this thing, turn the key, and drive it to the beach regularly, right? till it has a function, okay? But to me, that's driving our son Theo to school or going to the beach. So anyway, thanks to especially my godfather Chuck, who, you know, certainly was the most avid supporter of this. And it's really cool to see on some of the wiring diagrams, or some of the wires, his handwriting on the blue tape where he had identified the wires. So I still got his handwriting on there, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, he used to come out occasionally to help me for a long weekend, get the Alfa on the road. So yeah, definitely dedication on this car to Uncle Chuck. So wish us luck. It's charging from the truck. Isn't that fabulous? And we have BMS in there, and a generator even fits in the passenger seat. I cleaned the windshield. That was pretty cute. Maybe I'll clean the seats off now with those wipes that I found. I don't know where I found those. But what I was showing you here, the control unit for the charger is this. It's an EVCC, which you have to buy separately from the Thunderstruck charger. And it communicates over CAN. And then you have this serial cable, which is like a 1/4-inch headphone jack that goes to USB. And just kind of for documentation, right? So I'll just show you how this is set up. Basically, this is Windows 11, I think. If you just plug that in and just give it some time, the driver installs automatically. Then if you go to Device Manager, it will give you your COM port here. And then basically all we had to do was download this program called Putty, which is a telnet. And you would go down to the bottom, you'd click on Serial, and that's strange. Well, I guess you don't even need to click on Serial. The only thing I did was type in COM3 there, because the serial port uses COM3, but really is session. And then you would click on serial, and then you would change the COM line to 3 and open. And it will open up this. And I'm not sure why our control unit is offline. I was having issues with this, but let me try to just cycle. If I shut this switch I have, this may need to be a momentary switch. If I just cycle this, nope. Strange. Well, I don't know why it's not working now. Oh, because it's already connected. Okay. So, yeah, all you do is figure out your COM port, run a serial connection with Telnet, and you can click on. Let me just maximize here. You can commands like show, and this will give you status. So current voltage is 120.2. Our target. If I do show, how about show config? So I've got 128. So that'll be 4 volts per cell, which is the max the Leaf uses. Like I said, 1.6 amps, terminating current, half an amp, and max of 24 hours charging. Back to the capacity that I was quoted, or if we do get the full capacity of around 10 kilowatts or something, wouldn't that be nice? It would take 2 days to charge this car at that rate. But actually, this is probably the best charging current for my intention to make this a solar powered car, right? So again, I would need a deep cycle battery bank, I guess, or maybe use some lithium cells to emulate a DC battery, right? I've got a bunch of 18650s at home, trying to figure out the best way to put them to use. Maybe put them up front, solar charge controller, charge them up, and then on a timer regularly each day, turn on the inverter hooked up to those guys and run the breakout power here that would charge the 12 volt and kick on the charger. And once the inverter goes, to 10.5 volts or whatever, it will kick off on its own and say, that's all I got for you today, and then let the charge controller the next day charge up those batteries with the solar panel, which fits perfectly on the trunk. So that would be super cool. But I guess we'd need to maybe paint the car first. I'm not sure. My mom actually volunteered to pay for the bodywork and the paint job on this car once I got it on the road. So that's hopefully where it's going next. If it can drive to the Mako shop on 88 in Lakewood, which is about 4 or 5 miles, that would be a serious sight. All right. Well, we'll let it charge up. Going to clean out the storage unit and then hopefully make it home tonight. Thanks everyone. See ya.